Was today the Bears' most intense practice in 20 plus years? Multiple Bears beat reporters called this the most intense practice that they have ever covered. The Bears were back in full pads, and tempers were flaring between the offense and the defense. There were more than a half dozen scuffles, and this was by far the most physical practice of the entire year. We also had a big development at left tackle. Roschon Johnson scored multiple TDs and body slammed a defender, and Cole Kmet left practice with an injury. Today I'm going to cover all of that and more. Please hit that like button to support the channel. Today was the 12th practice of training camp, and it marked the 12th and final install of Ben Johnson's offense. There was a lot of short yardage and goal line work today. After yesterday's practice was a very light one, the Bears moved today's practice from 8:30 a.m. into the early afternoon, making it a hotter, more physical day. And the Bears will also be releasing a depth chart right around the same time as this video. There is a lot of information to get into. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Cole Kmet would leave practice early today, and he was reportedly visibly upset. This could be an opportunity for Colston Loveland to get a ton of reps on offense. I'm going to monitor the situation closely, but hopefully Cole is okay. As for the daily left tackle update, we have some pretty big news here. I think it's pretty clear that Ozzy Trapillo is on top of the depth chart right now, but we still have a month to go until the regular season, and he still hasn't played one preseason snap yet. So while I do have Ozzy as my favorite to win the job, it's far from over yet. But he did again start the day with the first string today. But the most interesting development was that with Karan Amagaji remaining out, Theo Benedet got some reps with the starters at left tackle. Theo, the UDFA that flashed a ton of potential last year. He's been getting second team reps at right tackle, and today he pretty much got Karan snaps at left tackle. Ozzy was with the starters most of the day, and then Braxton got a little bit of work later, but then Theo came in for the final set of team drills. Very good to see. Now let me recap the day for the offense. Early on in 11-on-11 drills, things were intense. Tempers flared up 7 separate times, and there were some big hits being laid in the most intense practice in years. The offense looked on fire early on, and the O-line was getting pushed off the line of scrimmage. And led off by Roschon Johnson and Kyle Monangai, our running backs had a great day. But after getting off to a hot start, the false start issues would flare up again on offense. 3 false starts in one 11-on-11 period. That is simply unacceptable for our head coach, Ben Johnson, who was not happy. The best play of the day, though, was Caleb Williams to Rome Odunze for a 50-yard TD bomb. It was a beautiful pass from Caleb, who hit Rome in stride with Nashon Wright in coverage. The biggest explosive play of the day that featured a lot of goal line work and short yardage runs. Rome had multiple TD catches today. You simply love to see it. Luther Burden also continues turning heads at camp. His speed has really stood out, but overall today was a lot less pass heavy than most of our practices have been this year. There was a heavy emphasis on running the football today, which brings me to the guy we have to talk about. Roschon. He had a fantastic practice, and he also ended up getting into a scuffle and body slamming Jonathan Owens after a hard tackle. He got up and spiked the ball in his direction, and then he tackled Owens for what was roughly the third scuffle of practice. He got into another scuffle, no details on who it was with, but Bears beat reporters are reporting that apparently he threw a punch. No details on that, but Roschon was honestly the player of the day. He scored a handful of touchdowns today, and he's starting to establish himself as the front runner to be the goal line back in 2025. I don't want this after the whistle stuff to overshadow that. It was just the theme of the day. Tempers were flaring, and it was an extremely physical day. The battle between Roschon and Kyle Monangai is a very interesting one to keep an eye on. The rookie running back always keeps his feet churning. He runs with a low center of gravity, he has great balance, and he protects the football. You can't rule him out either, and I expect both of them to get a lot of reps in the preseason. When it comes to the QB2 job, I don't really believe we have a battle right now. I think Tyson Bagent has locked that up, and he continues having a really good training camp. But he also received some incredible praise from head coach Ben Johnson today. The most noteworthy piece of information is he talked about how Tyson continues progressing through his reads even after he throws the football. On every rep in practice, he's continuing to be an awesome influence in this locker room, and he's a guy that we're lucky to have on this team. Look, Tyson is going to help Caleb Williams, and I really hope we can keep him around for a couple more years. Also, Case Keenum did not look great today and threw a bad interception. UDFA Tysheem Johnson had the pick. Overall, the offense would look awesome at times today, but they need to fix those false start issues. Hopefully, they can get that cleaned up before the regular season starts. We still have plenty of time, though. Don't panic yet. The defense would have its moments too, though. And today was probably the most back and forth practice at camp. The offense made big plays, and the defense made some big plays too. They were stuffing some runs, and they had multiple players explode into the backfield to cause disruption. Both sides were throwing punches, at least figuratively speaking. But let's talk more about the defense, where Austin Booker is looking better and better as camp goes on. I thought he started out really slow, but he's improved once the pads came on, a really encouraging sign for his development. He looked good again today, and he was also involved in one of the scuffles today. It was the seventh or eighth one of the day between the offense and defense, and this time it was Braxton Jones and Austin Booker getting into it, but Jervon Dexter came up and pancaked Braxton Jones. Do not get in the way of Big Dex. He is ready to break out this year, in my opinion, and he also flashed with some big reps today. I believe this defensive line is going to look a lot better under Dennis Allen. Another guy who's really started to break out over the last week, though, has been Noah Sewell at linebacker. He's came through with some really nice plays, but I've failed to talk about him much yet. He stood out today as well. Early on, it looked like Ruben Hippolyte was the favorite to be the Sam linebacker, but Noah Sewell has made this a real position battle. Sticking with the linebackers, though, it seems like the Bears really might be thinking of swapping positions with TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds, letting TJ be the Mike or middle linebacker and moving Tremaine to the Will. I like the idea, but I also like the idea of making the defense guess on every play, having both guys be able to play Mike or Will. Both have done it, and even though they both have different skill sets, TJ is more compact and kind of a thumper, while Tremaine is tall and lengthy and really fast. Both can get after quarterbacks. Both of them are very talented, and I'm excited to see how Dennis Allen deploys the linebackers this year. As far as the cornerbacks go, it was Tyreek Stevenson and Nashawn Wright who continue to get reps with the starters, but Terrell Smith has been rotating in as well. Definitely the biggest competition outside of left tackle is the CB2 job. I expect all three of these guys to get more reps than the other starters during the preseason. This competition could very well be the last one that gets decided. I love the depth we have in our secondary, and I'm honestly not really worried about who wins the job. Let them battle it out, and the best man win. Okay, and then I have an injury report for the day. Cole Kmet left practice early, like I said, and then Jalen Johnson, Shamar Stewart, and Zay Frazier remain out as well, as do Karan Amagaji and Ricky Stromberg. When it comes to today's practice, it was possibly the most intense since the Lovie Smith era. Nearly every single Bears beat reporter out there said that this was the most intense practice, not just of this year, but that they have ever covered. And Courtney Cronin has been covering NFL training camps for over 10 years now, and not just in Chicago either. Big statements from the local media. This really is a new era of Chicago Bears football. Richard Hightower, our special teams coach, he went out on a limb talking about how we finally got a real head coach here in Chicago. Hightower has worked with 3 head coaches that have went to the Super Bowl, and he also worked with a guy who got fired in Matt Eberflus, and he truly believes that we got one of the really good ones. And he wasn't just saying that. Hightower is a guy who's really honest, and you can tell he believes in Ben Johnson. Take a listen to his interview if you haven't. But Ben Johnson said he was going to decide what the plan was for this weekend's preseason matchup after reviewing today's practice. Will the starters play or not? That remains to be seen. But he also talked about how these joint practices with the Dolphins and Bills are just about as important as the preseason matchups. He also talked about how the players shouldn't worry too much about the depth chart right now. He said the entire point of training camp is for this team to compete. So these guys will still have 2 weeks and 3 preseason games to try to win a starting job or make the roster. This was the most physical and intense practice of the year, and it was kicked off by a really engaging and intense media session this morning from our new head coach, Ben Johnson. I'll say this much. If you only watch one Ben Johnson press conference all year, right now I would recommend watching the one from this morning. It's on the Bears official YouTube page, and it's just a really impressive watch. I walked away even more of a fan of Ben Johnson. He's so honest. His intelligence and football IQ are off the charts, and you can hear his passion when he talks. I am beyond excited to have Ben Johnson as the head coach of the Chicago Bears. If you listen to that presser, tell me in the comments what your thoughts were. I can't be the only one that was thoroughly impressed today. As always, I appreciate everyone who watches. How excited are you to watch the Bears this season? I have a ton more coverage on the way. Please hit that like button for me. Stay tuned. And until next time, bear down.